Well, hello, friends, and welcome to our next episode of Fun Filtered Marketing Talk for Authors. I've not been here in a long time. So
Right.
I'm Carol, and I'm to be here with
Heather. I'm Heather. We are so glad that you're all joining us. Carol, how are you doing? We have missed you.
I know, I've been busy. I don't even know. I don't know. But I'm here today and I'm thankful for it. Life has been good. I'm getting ready to launch a book and all the things and have some editing to do. So, life as an author, life as a publisher, it's very full. How about you? How's life in Vegas today?
Life in Vegas is good. It's warming up, but not too warm yet. So
Yeah,
we're
us
good.
too. It's nice. So this is, we're glad you're here for Fun Filtered. And this is where we honestly talk about what it actually looks like to get your message into the world. And what I love about what we present is it's really without the pressure that you may be feeling. It's without hype, and it's without feeling like you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah. So we have been spending time together over the past several weeks looking at what successful authors do. And today we are going to focus on how successful authors think long-term, not just about the launch.
Yeah, because book marketing is a journey. It's not just a one-time event, right?
Yes.
You're going to do it forever and ever. And,
Ever.
let's just say it out loud. Most authors, without even realizing it, put everything on launch week.
Yes, which is understandable. That is such a great time of excitement and celebration. But all the work and all the expectation is thrown to that launch time. All the pressure of this needs to work.
Yeah, and it sounds like this. So if this doesn't go well, I miss my moment. Or perhaps you're thinking if sales slow down after a couple weeks, something is wrong. Or perhaps even if people aren't talking about it right away, maybe my book message just didn't land.
And then the hard part, that mindset will wear you out fast because most books don't build impact in one big moment. They grow over time.
Yeah, so we have to talk about really the shift. So what makes the difference? So a launch that you do, when you launch your book into the world, it's not the finish line. It's the starting point.
Yes, just the beginning. It's not the entirety of the story.
Yeah, when you see it that way, everything that you do is going to change.
Yeah. So let's make this really real. Authors who think long-term don't disappear after the launch.
They don't go quiet when the initial excitement fades away.
Yeah, they just keep showing up in simple, steady ways, talking about their message in conversations, bringing it up when it naturally connects, maybe sharing pieces of it in emails or posts, and looking for other marketing opportunities like podcasts or book signings or maybe virtual events.
Yeah, they're not really pushing their book, but they're just constantly showing up in a consistent manner. They're staying engaged with their message. And Heather and I just have some really amazing stories of authors who recognized that once launch week was over, they needed to launch into even more. So Heather, share with us some of the things, because so Heather actually has insight to all the things because she, for Redemption Press, is the person who handles all of our royalties and what's happening in the distribution world. So she knows what books are selling and what books aren't selling. And sometimes she just will go in and ask authors if she sees this major increase. So tell us about Melissa.
Yeah. So we have an author who I noticed she launched in January of 2025. So it's over a year old. And I noticed in the fall that there was a significant increase in her sales. So like the November timeframe. And I asked her what she did because in the first, so January to September, she was at about just below 200 books sold, just the paperback version. And then in the following 3 months, October, November, December, she like almost an 800% increase in that. She jumped up to almost, 1,500 books sold. And so I asked her when I saw that, first of all, I wanted her to know. And then second, what did you do? Because oftentimes, the thing about royalties is it's a delayed. They don't pay for those. The distributors don't pay for them right away. So you often don't see that and maybe forget what you were doing at the time. But she said that she just took some time to do some intentional work in her local area. She did some podcasting. And we really think it was out of those podcasts that she really generated some interest around her book, where people were going into bookstores and asking for them to carry her book or order her book. So very exciting.
That is exciting. And Heather, we talked a little bit about how she also had a pretty big boost when it came to her ebook at the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, we did a major Amazon promotion for her. And approximately how many downloads did she have in that period?
In that first time, she had about 100 and almost 170 ebook downloads. So significant. And what that does is it creates visibility. So people can actually find her on Amazon. And that potentially had long reaching effects, as those people then download the book and enjoy it. And then they tell others who later go to purchase the book as well.
Yeah, that's so good. And that's why that is such an important, period to help us, because we do recognize that as authors, usually our first year of book sales are usually the lowest, because as more people get it, as they get it into their hand, they tell someone who tells someone who tells someone. And that's where the increase begins. And you just have to be patient. And again, just consistently showing up.
Yeah.
We have an author that actually lives here in Arizona. She's become a dear friend as well, but she did a kind of a pre-launch before her book launch, and she did it in person. And she purchased 1,200 books to sell direct to consumer, which again, it increases your revenue that you're getting in by a lot. And she was able to sell all of those books in like a 3-month period.
Wow.
And it was through in-person events. She did a big launch party. She, just had a lot of engagement, let people know. And she was able to basically create revenue that paid back her entire publishing investment and the investment for the price of the books in a 3-month period.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. And so, for our authors, especially with our Redemption Press authors, we want you to do well in distribution, because distribution is where your book has a reach that you will never even know who's buying your books.
Right.
But we also want you to have revenue coming in so that you can take the money that you're making from your book as you sell direct to consumer, and you're making like 5-6 times more than you would in a royalty, when you're having to pay the retailer and pay the distributor. But selling direct, you can create revenue to be able to continue the ministry that God's given you, to continue to pour into it and create even more and more. And so did you want to add anything to that, Heather?
No, but I do love the example of both sales through distribution channels, how you can continue with that, but also in person, like selling it direct as the author, because like you said, that's where we really want to see authors do well, because that's where they will make the most money.
Yeah. And both of these authors are continuing to do well because they continue to have their message and their book out there in a very consistent, slow and steady pace. And here's where it really matters, because when you put all the weight on just your launch, when you stop putting all the weight on just your launch, it's not going to spiral when things get quiet.
Yeah, you won't immediately think, well, I guess no one wants my book, and maybe I shouldn't have done this. I mean, think about it. If Melissa had given it the good effort, and I would say on average, authors look at about the 6-month point and think, maybe this isn't working. If Melissa had given up, she would have missed out on all when things really started to get going, and the majority of her sales have come beyond the 6-month point.
Yeah. So instead, we really need to start asking ourselves better questions, like, have I talked about my book recently? Or where does this message still belong? Because it definitely can shift as you move through different seasons. And what's one simple way that I could even bring my message or my book into a conversation?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's check in for a second, not in a heavy way, just honestly. How have you stayed engaged with your book and your message beyond the launch? So, talking about it, yes, but also looking for ways to share it, connect it, and keep it in motion. What are some things that you've been doing?
Or you can even kind of consider this question as well. Did things get quiet once that initial push was over?
Mm. Well, please know there is absolutely no judgment here. The reason we're talking about this is because we see it happen and you're not alone. This check in is just about noticing where you are so that you can then take one step forward.
Yeah, so let's keep the plan just really simple for this week so that you can do the one thing. I'm not a big plan or a full strategy, but just one intentional step, one way to stay engaged with your message.
Right. All right. So we've got some steps we're going to put on the screen. So the first one, notice where your message fits. So take a few minutes and ask, where is this message already showing up right now? A conversation you've recently had, or maybe a question that someone has asked you or someone you know, something that people are walking through, or maybe even a theme or a season that we're in. We're about to embark on summer. So maybe that's an appropriate thing. This isn't about creating something new, it's about recognizing what's already there.
Yeah. So, and as you are doing that, as you're noticing where your message is, now we have to choose that place that we're going to be engaged. It doesn't have to be everywhere. Remember, we just have to be somewhere. So pick the thing that feels most natural to you. It
Mhm.
could be if you're, if you're big on social media, share that short little post or a thought that you have. Send a quick email. Maybe you're responding to someone's question or you're reaching out to a group to speak or a podcast or some kind of connection. Maybe even updating just some of your messaging. So maybe you need to update your bio. Maybe look at your description, see how it's landing. We put all that time and effort into it at our launch. Make sure that it's still connecting with your reader. You don't have to do everything at once, but just pick one thing to really consider, and then you can do the next thing, and then the next thing. So just pace yourself. Just do something.
Right, right. Okay, so step one, notice where your message fits. Step two, choose one way to engage. And then step three, take one intentional action. So this may be the hardest part. You have to follow through with that action. Do that one thing that you chose. If you are a planner, this may be the hardest thing you do. You like to really make those great plans and they look fantastic, but taking action is the hardest part. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't overthink it. Just be intentional and build that consistency, because the long game of marketing, it's not built on big bursts of effort. It is built on small, consistent steps that will keep your message moving forward.
Yeah. And as you're saying that, I think I'm going to. So I was thinking, like, wow, I haven't really been consistent in some of my social media when it comes to my book. So do you know what I'm going to do this week? Okay, y'all can hold me accountable. I'm going to change the cover photo in my Facebook group that I nurture, that I'm not doing a very good job nurturing right now, but
Oh,
I go through seasons. And so I'm going to just change the cover photo for the new, a new re-release of a book that I have, as well as a new release I have coming up, and
great
just
idea.
getting some engagement, right?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that. So remember your goal. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's easy. Like
It's
that is
easy.
such an easy move. But don't underestimate those simple things that make a big difference.
Right. It's like maybe take me 10 minutes. I think I
Okay.
can handle it.
Yeah.
So this goal this week isn't just promoting your book more. It's staying engaged with your message, just one intentional way. Do something simple to stay engaged.
Mhm.
Um, and the authors who see fruit over time aren't necessarily those who are the loudest and that are screaming about their book all throughout everything they do. And not even the ones that have the most polished message. Those are not the ones who always see the fruit.
Yeah. And this, maybe pay attention to this one. The ones who see the fruit are just the ones who don't disappear. They
Mm,
remain and they keep showing up. They keep sharing and they keep trusting that their message still matters.
That actually sounds kind of biblical, like staying attached to the vine, and then
Yeah.
you'll have fruit. And it's not
Fruit.
about this whole like strive, 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 strive. It's just about being present.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
I know. Look at that. Biblical movement forward.
That's
This is
right.
good. This is good. Well, we are so glad that you were joining us today. And if you're listening and thinking, I don't want to figure this out on my own, or maybe I feel stuck, that is exactly why Book Marketing Pro Academy exists.
Yeah, we love working with authors there. It's a place where you don't just learn what to do, but we actually do it together. We support you, we coach you. We're a community that comes together and cheers you on. And so you can check it out at bookmarketingproacademy.com. If you have any questions about it, you can always put it in the chat even later if you're watching this. And we will make sure that you are connected to our community of our authors who just gather together to market their books.
Yeah.
So we will definitely, I don't know if I'm on next Friday, or if Heather is, but somebody will be here next time.
Like a mystery every week.
It is a mystery.
I know.
Who's going to be here? But we'll see you next time.
Yes. And this week, remember, just take one intentional step forward. Have a good week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.